Okay, this video is about comparison and nutrition experts. And a lot of people will sometimes send me a note saying, oh, why don't you see if so-and-so will interview you. You guys seem to have a lot in common. And I would say a lot of times, like the way to think about diets, I think the biggest overall categories, I agree with Nathan Pritikin. He basically says it pretty much comes down to what you think about fat. So I put myself in green and I marked everything that I believe in and recommend, and based on having studied it. 100% vegan, no oil at all of any kind, no olive oil, no omega-3 oils. I recommend organic only. I realize that's not always possible, but that's what I believe a person should aspire to. No nuts, because they're so high fat, 70 to 90% fat. Oils are all liquid fat. I would never eat oils. Single ingredient only, because when they put additional ingredients there, they can put additives in there, MSG, MFG, and other things. No alcohol at all, not a drop. Water should be filtered. I think that's important. No flour, no added sodium, no artificial sweeteners, no MFG, MSG, no soy. I think soy is a bad food. And there's a lot of people who don't agree with that, but I think I've studied it more than they have. Very low fat. And so, there's not an exact definition of very low fat. For our purposes, I'll just say less than 10%. Low fat might be something like 10 to 15%, moderate fat, in the ballpark of 15 to 20% fat or more. That one's a pretty loose definition there. Miscellaneous, there's a lot of other things some people will recommend that I think are a bad idea. Like some people recommend a vasectomy, which I think is stupid just because I've seen so many complications of vasectomy, and they recommend other things that I've seen a lot of bad outcomes from, so I would not recommend those things. So anyways, here's how you can look at the doctors. And I wrote the names down of a lot of the most famous ones. I know there's other good ones there. I couldn't fit them all in. Will Bushevitz, the fiber-fueled diet guy, he's good. There's other ones here that are good that I'm sure I forgot. But just because people wonder, how can you make sense of it? How can you compare it? And I'm telling you, look at these things. And check off the box for what they are in these things, and that'll tell you who's who. And I can also tell you, this is pretty much the categories it comes down to. These are all the high-fat guys, and I think their diet is ridiculous. Paleo, keto, carnivore, low-carb, all that, I think is a bunch of nonsense. But just so you know, these are some of the most famous ones in that group. And I think there's lots of problems with fat, because I spent a long time studying fat, and Nathan Pritikin was correct when he went through all the literature in the past. Fat is bad. It just causes problems with metabolism, so I think it's a good idea to try to keep it to be very low. So anyways, I hope this is helpful to you as you continue your study in nutrition.